Hi everyone, this is James Burton, Chair of British Obstacle Sports. I also have Becky Neal here, who is Head of Obstacle Course Racing at British Obstacle Sports. Hey Becky.
Hey James.
We've just got a quick 5-10 minutes. There may be more questions, but we just wanted just to catch up ahead of the AGM on September 6th. At Ethos Brothers Cafe near Nuclear Races next Saturday. There is also a Mud Tribe Nuclear Race during the day. We're going to have a British Obstacle Sports Wave at 3 p.m. So feel free to join us. But the reason for this call was to ask as many any questions that people had, but it was also give everyone a bit of an update on one of the key resolutions that is in the AGM, which is resolution 4. It doesn't have any immediate impact. I will actually move on to the resolution. It doesn't have any immediate impact, but it does have a potential quite significant future impact. So essentially what the British Obstacle Sports Board have been doing pretty much since this news first broke in terms of the partnership between World Obstacle and UIPM, so Modern World Pentathlon, and certainly since there was a memorandum of understanding where they were working towards an integration, we've been working to understand what that means for our sport and how we can ensure we use our influence as people, as part of the community and part of the sport, to try and ensure that whatever outcome occurs, it's a positive one for our sport, equally for pentathlon in any kind of form of partnership, and we get the best opportunities to move forward. So that being said, we're very conscious that this is a big discussion. It's all of our sport collectively. As members, you have a say. And while you give an authority to the board to make decisions on your behalf, we felt this was an important enough discussion that we're having to put a resolution through at the AGM. So the AGM, this is the text that you will vote on, and voting has already started since Friday, essentially authorises the board to work on your behalf to participate and work towards the integration of FISO and World Obstacle and UIPM, which is the World Pentathlon Federation. That being said, there's some important conditions that we're going to work and use our influence to ensure the integration looks and is shaped in a positive way and protects OCR and Ninja as part of that. So apologies, these aren't numbered, but the 3 points we really want to get across in discussions is: number one, OCR and Ninja must retain their independence as distinct sports within the UIPM structure. We see them as distinct sports, as I'm sure you'll understand. We're not pentathlon. We can certainly be within a family of sports, but we're not pentathlon. We are OCR and we are Ninja. We're two separate sports already, and we see as completely separate to what pentathlon is, even though there is an OCR discipline within pentathlon. The other important part of the discussions is it's really important to have representation at a board level. This is where key decisions are made. It's why OCR and Ninja both have board representation. So within British Obstacle Sports, so that's another really important thing. Lastly, whatever this new international federation becomes in the future, it's really important that it preserves the identity of the sports within it. From our perspective as British Obstacle Sport, OCR and Ninja, but equally pentathlon, any future partnership, everyone needs to win. So it's really important that those identities of what makes all our sports great are still retained. So they're the things we'll work towards as a board and discuss at an international level. This week I was actually out in Lithuania and having those discussions. So these things are already happening, but we want in Lithuania, it was the Pentathlon World Championships the last week. These discussions are happening, but we want your authority to continue them, essentially. That being said, there's still one more step. So if we work with World Obstacle, we work with UIPM, and we get to a point where we're really comfortable that what's being proposed is right for our sport, we will actually come back at that point and have a final vote, effectively, with our members to say, this is what the integration looks like. Do you agree with the decision, ultimately? And if you do agree that you are in favour of integration at that point, then that's where we would, at an international level, support, which would effectively mean that a vote that would effectively mean the dissolution of World Obstacle. Lots of talking. Hopefully that all made sense.
I can recap.
Thank you, Becky. That would be really helpful. Anything I've missed as well?
So I think that last point's really important. So the vote at the AGM that's coming up for British Obstacle Sports is not the final vote about whether and how this happens. Already previously, we've asked World Obstacle what that might look like. And so we can't make that final vote until we know what that really looks like. And so we need that level of detail to be able to make that decision. What's happening at the moment is not that decision with that level of detail and that level of finality. Instead, what we're saying is we'd like to continue in this direction to explore what that would look like. And that's what this resolution is about. I think the really important points is that third one about identity. And like the second point, which is about having representation on the board, which is essentially what I do at the national level and what our committees do. And that's a really good structure that we have that feeds in within BOSS up to that top level. That works really well. We can see at our national level how that works. Yes, lovely. So right in the middle there, you can see Ninja Sport and OCR technical committees and the heads of those, which is currently me. We sit as part of the board. So that's really useful. So if that can be reflected in the future, I think that has a really big impact on what can happen at a world level. And it helps with the clear visualization of the sports of Ninja and OCR. But the identity part, which is probably what our members feel is the most important, can come down to a lot of different things. So I think that point there that we're kind of suggesting is something that we want to continue to follow up more, which is how can we create that identity? Is it through, lots of different ways? Because I think that might be what's most important to you. So that is something that we will continue to explore to make sure it feels like that.
It's a really good point, Becky, because we understand we've put 3 points there. They're principles and things we're aiming for rather than specific detail. And those 3 points, they're the things we're going to be taking and using as our kind of benchmark of how we're working and how World Obstacle and UIPM are coming back to the wider communities with a clear plan and clear integration program. And we can essentially benchmark against that. So that this vote, as Becky said, it's not a final decision, but it's just to continue the work we're doing. And it's such a big decision, and it is a big future decision that we want to have everyone's blessing as a board to continue. We do see great opportunities. UIPM is an Olympic international federation. It's a professional organization. It has paid staff. World Obstacle has been working very hard to grow and develop the sport, set up championships, etc. But it is a volunteer organization, just in the same way that British Obstacle Sports is. And it's very kind of small in terms of size in comparison, to be honest, in terms of the amount of volunteers we have in British Obstacle Sports perspective, but certainly from a UIPM perspective. One final slide just to mention, as I said, I've been out in Lithuania. They had a fantastic event. It was in a basketball arena, lots of crowd attending. They had the 70-meter OCR course, the fencing, and the shooting of the laser run within that basketball arena. Incredibly exciting. And it was a lot of effort and budget ultimately that went into producing such a thing, and it drew fantastic crowds. So it's really kind of an exciting opportunity of where we could potentially see some of the standalone events within OCR and Ninja go in with the right kind of structures and support. So I just wanted to mention that as well, and I think that did really excite me when I was there, in terms of you could see if we can start to get a product that gets TV appeal, it can be really hugely beneficial to our athletes as well. And ultimately that's who we're here to serve, and our mission is to ensure that everyone in the UK, always come back to this, can enjoy the endless possibilities of obstacle sports. And I think we do want to grow and spread it across the UK, and then indeed the world, as in terms of our goal. So we keep coming back to this when we're reviewing the opportunities ahead. I'll pause there. I know we've got a smaller group, that's why we're recording today, so I'll hand over to see if there is any questions from anyone. All right, thank you everyone. You can still ask questions up to the AGM date. Of course, you can ask questions at the AGM as well. It will be in person, as I mentioned. I forgot to say it's also online. Do RSVP, you should have details in your inbox. And that's a great way. We can send out the link, but as I say, you can reach out for any questions as you work through as well. With that, I'm going to stop presenting and thank you all for attending this screen recording. We're going to put out so people can watch at leisure. And as I say, don't be afraid to join the AGM if you've got questions, or reach out to Becky, myself, or anyone else on the board should you have them. All right, and I wish you all a great rest of your evening, and I will see you all soon. Thanks everyone.